So, the Flash shows up in Dead Man Running. And no, the title doesn't refer to the super zombie that's running around looking for dark matter, but rather the Flash himself. Yes. Yeah, like every season of the Flash had its own, ongoing arc for it, and almost every one of them dealt with an evil speedster. They ran that into the ground. And I think the Thinker was the first supervillain to be the overall arc that wasn't a speedster and that sort of thing. They finally kind of changed it, but basically the same templates and whatnot unfold. It's just all in the matter of how they perform it, really, and that's about it. But here we get the Crisis is the overall arc, which will be filtered through all the CW shows at some point, but primarily the Flash and Arrow appear to be really delving into it. Since I don't watch any of the others, and I guess I might watch a few more Batwoman shows just to have a good laugh, but therefore I only know how the Flash is dealing with it. And of course he's facing his ultimate demise, which I don't think will happen. I think they will rearrange that, as it's already been pointed out that the original timeline has been altered so many times, especially now that the Crisis event happens in 2019 instead of 2024, and so on and so forth. So this is ongoing, and he's still dealing with it. And in this episode, he finally reveals to the rest of the cast, not just his wife, that yes, in order for them to survive and everybody to survive, he has to die in the upcoming Crisis. So, oh no. Meanwhile, he's got to deal with a super zombie running around, and then Caitlin's friend, who, as Frost, she immediately zeroes in on him as being the culprit here, but they don't quite know that he's the culprit. He ends up offering to help them deal with it, and actually does come up with a solution for the super zombie that, unbeknownst to them, he created. And he discovers that he has the ability to control the super zombie, but Flash and Killer Frost end up destroying it before he can really do anything with it. But at the same time, this leads him to realize that the material that resulted from his experience with dark matter he can use and spread it around to gain more power and control, which will lead him to his supervillainy for next week, probably, from the previews, looks like. But anyway, that's what he got. There's little teases here and there, of course, for the Crisis again. And there's also the super zombie's last name. I guess I didn't catch it in the last episode. Was Romero. Gee, I wonder why. But super zombie was actually just a puppet of what's his name? Is it Ramses or Ramesh? Anyway, and I guess it was just acting on the instinct of his desire for more dark matter, and that's why it kept seeking it. And it was just a puppet of him all along, but it was just like his subconscious was controlling it, I suppose. And so there you go with that. The rest of it, there's a little insight of Elongated Man's mother shows up, and she's just like her son, a bit of a con artist and swindler. She gets caught up in a crime she didn't commit, and they have to help her out. And this reveals just a little story about how she had been lying to Ralph all this time about these different boyfriends she's had over the years, and that he sought father figures in, and then they would move on. And she told him, well, they died. And he believed. She's had a series of boyfriends, and they all died. And he believed it. And so he's upset, but then he comes around, and she's like, I was only trying to protect you, and all this stuff. And then he wonders, well, his real father, did he actually leave? And she said, yeah, he did. And that's why I started wanting to protect you from my failed relationships. And that's how that went. But there's a bit of a plot hole here. While they're on the case to try to clear her, to give her an alibi from from stealing, that she was actually at this club gambling. And the owner of the club, he says, you got security cameras, and we want the footage. And he says, well, I don't like dealing with cops, but I'll give it to you for $5,000. And well, damn, we don't have this kind of money. And but the thing of it is, it's exculpatory evidence. They could have it subpoenaed, and they don't. He can stuff his $5,000 to me. So, and especially with her lawyer is what's her name, Cecile. She had been a prosecutor, so she has all these connections and stuff, and so she could get a judge to help out with that and get a subpoena for this exculpatory evidence for a client. So but they just quickly rush through that to have their little scheme that they pull to help her out in it, and so it's not a perfect show. It's often kind of stupid, but still remains the best of the CW shows, and that's, of course, in a lot of ways not saying much. but it works out. But a lot of it is kind of the repeat. At the end, they have a party at Star Labs, and they're all jamming and stuff, and then, of course, Barry kind of walks off because he realizes, hey, he just can't enjoy the good times anymore because he knows it's all coming to an end for him, and then that's when he reveals to everybody that, yeah, it's not happening. I'm not going to make it and all this sort of stuff. So basically the entire season will be nothing but filler until you get to the crossover event. But there's still fairly good moments. It was not a spectacular episode. It was not one of the great ones, but it wasn't all that bad. So there you go. Dead Man Running, The Flash, and remains, yes, again, the best CW shows, but it's also, for what it is, an okay show. Well, it's a masterpiece compared to Batwoman and stuff like that. But and Watchmen, oh my God, I knew it would be bad, but I didn't know it could be that. Actually, as boring as Batwoman was, it wasn't as bad as Watchmen. Yeah. I haven't seen the other Batwoman shows. I just saw the pilot, but it was just it was really stupid as well as boring. But good Lord, Watchmen, that's so bad. So The Flash is a masterpiece compared by comparison, which is not always the best way to promote a show, but it is what it is. So there you go, The Flash, Dead Man Running. It does stream on their site, so if you want to check it out, go ahead. And while you're here, hey, why not like and subscribe? Yeah. And check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores that have plenty of goodies for you.